Incremental routines. So you may have noticed already that SuperMemo only comes with the ABC collection. You go through that in a few minutes, and that's about it. What's the content? Well, it's because SuperMemo doesn't teach you content. It teaches you to remember whatever content you want, but you will import the content yourself. It's a slightly meta in this sense. It's like more or less my tutoring service. I'm not going to teach you anything, teach you math, psychology, or whatever you need or you want to. No, I'm going to teach how you can teach yourself whatever you want, if this makes sense. So that's the premise. So what's the core philosophy? SuperMemo doesn't give you knowledge, but provides you tools to keep that knowledge. So you have information. You process that information within SuperMemo. And with cognition, your brain transforms this into knowledge. And then you keep this in with flashcards that are scheduled with a spaced repetition. So you keep this knowledge in memory, long-term memory. So therefore, you as a user, bring the content to SuperMemo, and SuperMemo helps you remember it forever of what you have decided to remember. But SuperMemo doesn't ever provide content to you. The ABC collection, let's say, it's an exception, even though it's very minimal. It only lasts a few minutes, and it's only for itself, for SuperMemo. So we could say that SuperMemo is not a teacher. It's a memory organizer, optimizer. Not an organizer either, an optimizer. So you may be familiar with teachers, schools, and books. The old school way, no pun intended, the Prussian system, that they teach concepts. You attend a classroom, and hey, today the lesson is about history, about this period, or about this in math, how to do multiplications, whatever. That's not the case in SuperMemo. Why this is important? This actually matters. SuperMemo makes sure that you don't forget the content you decided. It's a tool for retention, not comprehension. It's way too reduced. Just to make my point. Later you will realize that this is a nuisance and is actually not that true. What I mean by that is that the comprehension happens in your brain, not in SuperMemo, okay? But is incremental reading. You do the comprehension. With the spaced repetition is about retention. I want to focus now on that. Have this with a grain of salt, but it's to make my point. That, hey, I'm not going to have content that, hey, yeah, show me about nutrition, what I need to be healthy, and so on. You will have to do it as a user, as a self-directed person, because there's the curriculum. You make your own. Then, spaced repetition is the engine. It's based on the science of forgetting. SuperMemo predicts when you're about to forget something, and it reminds you before you forget that something. What is called the spacing effect. And you will lock it in your long-term memory. That's the premise. More details later in the course. So what actually SuperMemo optimizes is your review schedule, your long-term retention of what you wanted to remember, and your effort to results ratio, meaning that for the result, the outcome you will get, it's optimum with the amount of time you will require. So therefore, it's about efficiency, not just input. Then, what SuperMemo doesn't do? It doesn't explain concepts. It's not AI, right? That I can prompt, hey, explain me something. You could use now this flow with AI, outside of SuperMemo, of course, but in conjunction. Then you could import stuff back to SuperMemo and so on. But SuperMemo doesn't teach you anything, doesn't explain to you anything. It doesn't guide you, doesn't provide any curriculum. It doesn't magically make you smarter. It makes your memory smarter, meaning that you need some soft skills on top of that. Not because you just use SuperMemo, the tool, you are smarter. That's why some people struggle. Hey, I'm losing the big picture. Hey, I'm just memorizing like a parrot, but I cannot apply this information. You see what I mean? We'll cover also this in the course. So SuperMemo It's a tool for self-directed learners. It's optimized. Yes, you're going to still use it with curriculum, for cramming, at some degree, pushing the boundaries, going against most of the features, but this is still possible to do it. So, it's perfect if you're curious, motivated, and self-directed, because SuperMemo is built with this in mind. Then SuperMemo, we could say, that gives you superpowers, but only if you bring the intention and discipline. Discipline in the sense that you show up, you have some consistency, but not discipline that, hey, I need self-coercion to do it every day, even if it's boring, unappealing, uninteresting. No, doesn't go in that direction. Because you will enjoy it, actually discipline is not needed. Like, do you need discipline to binge watch your favorite Netflix show? If you know what I mean. Again, more details later in the course about this. I mean, there are more than 2,000 videos for the mastery course. So everything that I present will be dedicated in a full-fledged video, most of the time. Then the missing piece is you, the user, the learner. SuperMemo won't choose the content for you. You will choose the content, the material, and you will prioritize it. You will decide how important, how relevant it is to you today. You won't ask the right questions unless you write them. You will create your own flashcards. Convert something that is written with a close relation, then is, hey, let me rewrite this with question and answer. Or I will leave it as a close relation. Again, we will see this later on. But it's something that you have done previously, your past self. SuperMemo is not going to ask you anything. You will ask yourself to your future self via SuperMemo. SuperMemo will only schedule that for you, but does not create content. Does not even generate questions to review the content you already have. That will be possible with AI now. So, what's the final thought? SuperMemo first doesn't teach you content. Even more than that, it doesn't teach you how to learn or what to learn. Some people, they actually get it, that, hey, now I went through the course or the videos and so on, I get the premise, but hey, I know how to use SuperMemo, but the very abstract level fails. Again, I don't get the big picture, I only memorize like a parrot, and all of that. That is because they don't know how to learn, or they don't know how to select material. And a lot of cognition-based abilities. That's why this video is limited. I will do my best job, but with the soft skills, I can give you examples I experienced with tutorees across years of experience, something I have experienced myself or I have seen in the community, but it's very tacit. I cannot transmit this in a pre-recorded video. That's why, if that's the case, you can get tutoring, one-on-one tutoring, because it's the best solution for that. Then, going back. SuperMemo doesn't teach you anything, any content, not even what to learn, but not even how to learn it, or how to learn in general. It helps you to never forget what you have chosen to learn. Meaning that if you already know how to learn, how to choose material, how to prioritize, and all of those soft skills, then it's just about the hard skills. Getting familiar with SuperMemo, with incremental reading, how it works, what does the menu, how is, if I want to do this, how this translates into software. I click this, there, papam, starts this feature, papapum. It will be a lot easier. This course, it's meant with tabula rasa. Means it doesn't take anything for granted. So any difficulty you may have, it will be covered. That's why there are more than 2,000 videos. What makes SuperMemo different? This. Its self-directedness, it's so powerful, so flexible, and so open that at the same time, it's a caveat. At the beginning, Since I don't know how to use it, I'm lost. I don't have any direction. This is what makes it extraordinary once you know how to use it. Once you know how to use incremental reading with SuperMemo, it is an extraordinary method, but it's very tough at the beginning. So that has been more or less like stimulating a video, I hope so, that SuperMemo doesn't teach you anything. It only helps you to remember. You have to do everything yourself. SuperMemo will only present to you something back that you did in the past. But now with AI, it will be slightly different. And again, for the mastery course, for the mastery track of the course, there will be a section with AI. More or less in 2,000 videos from now. Slightly more than 2,000 videos from this one. That's all you need to know for now. See you incrementally.